Hey, what's up? Hope everyone's having a good day and is ready for another video in the series we like to call Underrated Throwers. Today we got Keshorn Walcott from Trinidad and Tobago. He's the 2012 Olympic champion from London, and I think to this day is still the youngest Olympic champion ever. This is his PR throw of 90 meters 16, which as you can see is a national record. Now I think people have forgot about him because he hasn't really done that much in terms of medals besides the Olympics, I'm pretty sure. I'll link his height, weight, personal best, his notable accomplishments in the video description. But his career has been plagued with injuries. I think he's still competing, but he's just been plagued with injuries. But he's made several world finals, two Olympic finals, I think. But I wanted to give him his props because I think people forgot how much of a beast he is, because right after, this is around the time the time he threw this, Julius Jago, Thomas Roller were getting on the scene, and then Vetter came, and then all the Germans came, and then, people just started forgetting how much of a beast Mr. Walcott is. And so let's take a look at his throw. I just love the simplicity of his throw. I love his rhythm. I love the stability. I mean, everything's just great. Really nothing to complain about. Just everything's just textbook. And yeah, I mean, there isn't really that much to say. I just think he's very underrated because, a lot of people just, I think, forget how much of a big deal. I think he's also one of the only, I think, medal winners in the Olympics for Trinidad and Tobago in anything, really. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, he's definitely the first one for javelin, and the only one. But let's get into this analysis right here. All right, so let's see. Okay. So I'm not even going to attempt to count his steps because the video was zoomed out, so I can't tell. But really nice forward run. Normally I like the tip pointed down a little, but flat is fine. Just not up. Really nice, stable. Upper body, really fluid. And then I love this transition. Really nice. The arm, so the palm, the top of the hand is facing this way, which is good. So he has an inverted hand to keep his left side closed. That's good. Really nice. And I really love how he crosses over. So you notice a lot of people try and reach with their front foot where really you don't want to. You want to think of a push-pull. So you notice how he's not just running sideways, because then he'll go up and down. The second he goes to his crossovers, you want to think about if you're right-handed, a pull with your left groin, push with your right hip, and then pull, push, pull, push. That's what you want to think, because that lets you get a little bit of air time, which allows you to get a little more stable. Allows the upper body to stay a little stable and allows you to cover a lot more ground a lot more efficiently than just tiring yourself out doing a bunch of steps. And it's a lot more powerful and a lot more comfortable to do that when you're moving sideways. And another thing I really like is that his feet, I know it's all blurry, but his feet are pointed 45 degrees. They're not pointed straight, and they're not pointed to the side. You want 45 degrees, so then your hips can stay, so you can have the separation, so your shoulders are facing that way while your hips are facing slightly that way. So you feel that stretch in your right lat and right core. So that's good. Really nice here, and then gets in his penultimate. Right foot grounds first. Really pushes. Does a really nice heel flip. Really nice. And you notice that you push in the right heel flip and then you block. So you don't want to land at the same time, because if you do that, then you're going to stop a lot of your forward momentum and you're just going to stop in place. Where you want to think about, you're going to push this right knee down while pushing your right foot forward. All right? So that's going to make your block land a little faster, and it's going to keep you moving forward over your block instead of just stopping. All right? Because you want to move forward when you throw the jab over your block. So you don't really want to stay grounded too long because you're wearing spikes, so you don't really turn. All right? So he does a great job with that. Stays down. Really nice block. And then with his left shoulder and left arm, he pulls down, creates a little angle here with his right shoulder. So he brings the left hand to pocket right there, and then creates a little tilt to get a little more of an angle, and so he gets a little better of a path through the jab. And then really nice recovery. So you notice how he goes all the way past his block and then steps forward. You always want to practice following through in jab with that right foot if you're right-handed. Always follow through. Momentum is always forward. All right? That's very important. And you notice, so when he gets this angle, you don't want to think about pulling this head down. You want to think about your shoulders just tilting a little bit. All right? So if you pull your head away, then you're just going to pull and your jab's going to go that way instead of straight. All right? And you're probably going to really hurt your elbow and your shoulder. All right? So it's very important to practice this with without the jab first and do it like knocking balls or really light med balls, because it's a lot less strain on your body. And definitely don't practice it in full throws unless you're really comfortable in it. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I just think overall just really, really nice technique. Really fluid. Really simple. Really, like, you can really easily replicate this technique. You probably won't throw as far. Well, maybe he will. But, I mean, you know, have you ever seen him train? There's videos of him training, and he's just a crazy athlete, which you got to be a 90-meter jab thrower. But, yeah, so, once again, this is a pretty short one because there isn't really too much to say, because there's really nothing that wrong that I think he does. Really, I mean, I think he's a really good technical model for beginners and advanced people, because he doesn't get like the craziest stretch in the world like a Vetter or something, like a Johannes Vetter. So yeah, I mean, like, he does obviously get a big stretch, but you know. And another thing that I should mention is that he waits for that left foot to ground before he even starts to throw. So you notice he's here and he keeps the jab back until the left foot lands. And that's the same in all throws. You want this left foot to ground and you want to feel a little weight on it before you even think about actually releasing it with your arm. All right? Because otherwise he'll get off his right foot a little too early. It's fast, but not that fast. And you'll get a very weak block, and you won't get as much transfer forward. All right, so that's something very important. So you want to be patient at the finish, and you'll probably release early too. So that's another thing. So in jab, the release is everything. Jab and discus are probably the two most important things. Well, the most important thing in them is the release, because the wind affects the distance a lot more than in hammer and shot put. And especially in jab, if you do not throw through the point, you're screwed. Like, you're not gonna throw very far at all. So that's something to really keep in mind. So I recommend doing a lot of like target practice stuff, and really practice throwing through the point, throwing straight dead on. All right, because that's very important, because the flight of the jab is everything. You can do everything right, And the same thing in disc. Everything right. If you have a wobbly disc or you like pancake it, it will not go far. Same thing in jab. If you release too high, it will just shoot straight down. Goes too low, obviously it won't travel very far because it doesn't have enough air time. So, and release points are different depending on how tall you are and all that. So, as long as you throw through the point and it gets a nice good arc on it while it flies through the air, you should be just fine. All right. So, yeah, overall just really nice. Let's watch it again full speed. Boom. Really nice. And you notice how he looks down, make sure he's recovered properly, and then looks where it's going. If he were to look before he regained his balance, he would fall out. So that's another thing. Do not watch where the implement lands until you have regained balance. All right? Because you're going to have a tendency, if you do that, to keep falling forward. All right? So that's something else to keep in mind if you're having trouble fouling out the front in any event, really. Hammer, it's kind of hard to do that. But in like shot put, discus, and jab, and hammer, I guess, never look at where it lands until you regain balance, all right? So I like this looking down. Really, really nice. Really regains his balance. And then when he has enough balance where he thinks he can stay in, then he looks. Alright, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, once again, I'll link his personal best, his notable accomplishments, and his height and weight in the video description. And see y'all next time.